You're watching First Alert 7 News at 9 on the CW and live on YouTube with Lauren Munt and weather with Tom Tiefertiller.
Midland ISD board members have selected a name for the district's newest elementary school. First Alert 7's Tyler Poglich tells us that name and the mascot in just a few minutes. Thanks for joining us for First Alert 7 News on the CW, and thanks to those of you joining us live on our YouTube. I'm Lauren Munt, and in our top story tonight, we've got an update for you on a nearly 4-month-long search for a Midland murderer. This is 54-year-old Wilbert Ray Davis, and he's considered armed and dangerous. Police have been searching for him since May 21st after he strangled a woman named Kendra Volmers in her own home. Midland Crime Stoppers is offering a $2,500 reward for anyone with information to Davis's whereabouts. If you know anything, you can submit an anonymous tip to 694-TIPS. And the man who spent the majority of his day on top of a roof in Odessa has been arrested. Take a look. This is a 37-year-old. His name is Christian Harada. The Odessa Police Department says that he, quote, had no right to be on this roof, and he caused damage to an electric pole and wiring. First Alert 7 spoke to neighbors about the strange situation.
It was just a normal day, waking up in the morning. I went to throw the trash, and once I turned back, like going back inside my home, I seen somebody up there, and he got me scared, and he had like a big pipe kind of thing, and I told him, "What are you doing?"
Now, Harada has been charged with 2 counts of criminal trespassing, resisting arrest, and criminal mischief. A Texas state trooper was airlifted to Lubbock this afternoon after he was hit by a car early this morning. The Texas Department of Public Safety says he's in serious but stable condition. According to officials, a deputy and a civilian were also injured. This all happened after police were called to investigate a crash at 6:30 this morning that was at Highway 302 in Marion in No Trees. According to the Ector County Sheriff's Office, the sheriff's deputy left his emergency lights on to divert traffic when another car crashed into it. Again, the trooper was airlifted to Lubbock, and he's in serious but stable condition. The deputy was taken to MCH, and he's also in serious but stable condition. The condition of the driver is unknown at this time. Turning now to a story that's all new here at 9 o'clock in collaboration with Reflection Ministries. Midland College's Phi Kappa Theta Honor Society hosted a community event titled Voices, Stories from the Survivors of Human Trafficking. First Alert 7's Isabella Garriga was at the event and, along with other attendees, had the opportunity to hear firsthand accounts from survivors and gain a deeper understanding of the global crisis. Isabella?
Human trafficking is a $236 billion industry. Texas is number 2 on the list of highest trafficking activity in the United States, and the Permian Basin is among the top 5 U.S. regions for trafficking. This underscores the urgent need for community awareness and action.
I can challenge you and I can tell you statistics all day long about what's happening, whether it's trafficking, domestic violence, or anything else. But what you're going to remember is a story. You're going to remember a life that's been affected and changed, and has there been hope at the end of it?
So with the shared mission of helping those in need, Reflection Ministries and Phi Theta Kappa came together to share the stories of human trafficking survivors.
Discussing stories through Miss Lisa, and she will be helping us, really convey like the backstory of many survivors that have gone through human trafficking. If we are able to convey their message and really convey their stories, we are able to have a great impact on the community at Midland College.
This event brought awareness and opened a dialogue on an issue that is too often ignored or overlooked.
Seeing the impact and seeing how how when people hear the stories, they'll really understand the problems going on today and learn how as a community we can all help.
How can we provide hope where there really has been none and be someone that does something?
Reflection Ministries and Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society challenged the people in the Permian Basin to contribute to the ongoing efforts of addressing and preventing human trafficking in our region. For more information, you can visit our website at firstalert7.com. And reporting for First Alert 7 News, I'm Isabella Griga.
Thank you, Izzy. Now a story you'll only see here on First Alert 7. Congressman Tony Gonzalez joined Wake Up West Texas this morning to discuss the growing problem of oil field theft. Gonzalez spoke about his legislation that he's working on to get passed that would bolster the Permian Basin Oil Theft Task Force and increase punishments for those involved in these crimes. Now, part of the law will enhance funding for a federal group that's here in West Texas that investigates oil field crime.
So what it does is it formalizes the 2008 Permian Basin Oil Theft Task Force, gives federal funding through Burn Jag program. Let's not just talk about the problem, let's fix it by working together.
Now that federal funding would come up in the form of up to $1 million, and it'll provide critical assistance to law enforcement programs that are combating oil field theft. And across West Texas, the result of a 2-day multi-agency crime suppression operation in Lamesa are in, and city officials say that they're proud of those numbers. Last week, federal agents joined state and local police for what they call Operation Safe Haven. Officers went around the city with a few points of emphasis, including locating 5 persons of interest.
I think it's very important to have criminal suppression and just focus on this stuff it sends a message that it's not going to be tolerated. We're going to work to stop it.
In total, 127 traffic stops were conducted, meth and marijuana were taken off the streets, and 17 people were arrested, including those 5 people of interest. He said having Lubbock's TAG unit bringing in its resources was a big help for the operation. We're going to take a pause now and talk your weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Tom Teefer-Teller. There we go. Tom, how's it going out there?
Well, we are seeing that partial lunar eclipse starting out there across the area as the moon is full in the eastern sky. Be sure to catch that. As we take a look at the satellite and radar view, not a lot happening, and most of the showers, thunder showers we had across southeast of Mexico dying out with the loss of daytime heating out there. So we're done for today, but we're going to see a few more of those in our forecast coming up for tomorrow. There's that full harvest supermoon out there, and again, the partial lunar eclipse will be at its maximum, covering part of the moon. About 9:45 this evening, so you still have some time to get out there and look at that, as we are seeing relatively quiet conditions across the area and temperatures now into the lower 80s. Still dealing with some humidity, as humidity levels are around 50% across the Permian Basin, so that's going to hold temperatures up a little bit overnight tonight. Only about the lower 70s is what we'll be looking for coming up overnight tonight, and then tomorrow things just a touch hotter. And also an isolated shower, thunder shower, not out of the question. More of that may be in the forecast later this week. We'll talk more about that here in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Tom. Turning some education news now. Last month, Midland ISD sent out a letter to members of the community asking for their help in naming the new elementary school that passed in last year's bond. First Alert 7's Tyler Poglich, he was at tonight's meeting, and he tells us what the new school name will be. Tyler?
During tonight's meeting, MISD board members chose Lone Star Trails as the new elementary school that will be built here right behind me, and its mascot will be the armadillos. When MISD started asking residents to give their suggestions on the new school, they asked them to consider naming the school in memory of a person who has served the district or community, in memory of any person who has made a significant contribution to society and or education, a local residential or geographical area, or a district property donor or his or her family members.
Really cool to see some of the people and some of the different landmarks and things like that that were submitted. Having the story behind them was really pretty cool to see, and see why people were wanting what they were wanting.
Lone Star Trails Elementary is named after the community in which it will be serving. According to Robertson, almost 100 people suggested the school being named after the community it's being built into.
Lone Star Trails is the community that the school is currently being built in. So we went with that community support of 98 people recommending that. And then the armadillo, it is something that Midland does not have as a mascot currently, and we really wanted to be unique, but also be something that represents Texas.
Lone Star Trails Elementary will be the 28th elementary school in MISD and is expected to serve up to 830 students in Midland, as well as create jobs for the district. One of those jobs that was created is the principal position, which for Morgan Robinson is nothing new, as she's currently the principal for Franks Elementary.
Really, I like new challenges. I like hard things, I guess you could say, and this has been a challenging but very rewarding learning curve for me.
Lone Star Trails Elementary is set to open next fall for students and faculty. Reporting for First Alert 7 News, I'm Tyler Poglich.
Thank you, Tyler. In honor of Hunger Action Month, the West Texas Food Bank and Midland College have partnered up to give a variety of free services to the community. This is happening for the second year in a row with a college road show. The event was informational and practical. There were mental health services and local agencies like the West Texas Food Bank that were there to explain what they can do to help students with food, housing, and more.
They have a partnership with the colleges around the community just to serve the community and the students. So we have free produce, we have a free lunch as well. So it's for Midland College students, employees, but also just the community members. We want to make sure to get the local community out here as well.
Midland College plans to continue helping students in need with their support and resources. And we've got a traffic alert for you. Todd Road from south of Marie Drive to Business 20 in Midland will be closed for a year. That's starting tomorrow. This is a map of that road closure. The city of Midland says construction will be done on the northeast sewer lines, and the work requires the road to be completely closed. According to the city, local access is required to be maintained as much as possible. The Texas Department of Public Safety is adding September appointments at driver's license offices across the state. That's happening through the end of the month. The offices will be open for half days through the end of the month and for people who need their driver's licenses or ID renewals. It'll be through appointment only, and people can find more information on the DPS website. Happening this week, it's National Forensic Science Week. This morning, the crime scene unit tour of OPD gave Odessans a behind-the-scenes look at the equipment and techniques that are used in crime scene investigations. Different boards were spread out to teach people the basics of fingerprinting, bloodstain analysis, firearm analysis, and even more. OPD says it's incredibly important to recognize these workers because most of their work goes unseen.
Sometimes we're kind of like the silent workers behind the scenes working tirelessly on scene, so to appreciate that and realize the work that goes into solving crimes. But also a lot of TV shows are popular right now and can kind of give a dramatized or unrealistic aspect of crime scene or forensic science.
The crime scene unit hopes to continue to recognize this week and hold an event like this again. Coming up, a partial lunar eclipse is happening over West Texas skies tonight. We'll tell you the best time to view it and the science behind it coming up next. And the fourth First Alert 7 peanut butter drive for the West Texas Food Bank is next Thursday. You can drop off peanut butter to the First Alert studios in Music City Mall or at either of the West Texas Food Bank locations in Midland or Odessa. West Texas has been pretty lucky over the past year to experience 2 solar eclipses, the annular eclipse last October and the total eclipse that happened in April. Now West Texans have the opportunity to witness yet another eclipse. Tonight, meteorologist Sawyer McElroy has more.
A full moon, a supermoon, and a partial lunar eclipse will occur in the night sky on September 17th.
How a lunar eclipse works is the Earth actually gets in the moon's way from the sun, and we see a red effect. A lot of people call it the effect of blood moon.
The light from the sun bounces off of the Earth's atmosphere and creates a red effect on the surface of the moon, similar to the red effect that can be seen during sunrise and sunset. The red effect will be the easiest way to tell the lunar eclipse is happening because only a small part of the moon will actually be covered during the eclipse.
And it's not going to be too big. It's going to be a slight sliver. You're going to see it red.
Those hoping to catch a glimpse of the lunar eclipse will need to pay attention to the top left side of the moon. It will almost have an eyeball effect within the night sky. Unlike solar eclipses, the lunar eclipse can be viewed by the naked eye, but utilizing a telescope or even binoculars will help elevate the viewing experience. The lunar eclipse will begin in West Texas around 7:50 p.m., reach maximum coverage around 9:44 p.m., and conclude at 11:47 p.m., lasting a total of almost 4 hours. If you missed this lunar eclipse, don't worry because a total lunar eclipse will happen next March, and the whole moon will turn red. For First Alert 7 News, I'm meteorologist Sawyer McElroy.
Well, you might want to get out there and look at it. The peak here is at about 9:44 this evening. It looks like it's going to be some clear viewing for that. Other changes in our forecast, we'll talk about those coming up next.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, taking a look at the satellite and radar view at the present time, the thunder showers we had across southeast New Mexico and trickled down into the Trans-Pecos, the mountain areas. It's all gone with the sun setting out there, losing the daytime heating. So all the storms are moving off to the east and northeast. Taking a look at the weather makers right now. That ridge of high pressure dominating our weather this weekend is kind of pushed off to the east a little bit more. It's being replaced by this upper level low and trough low pressure that extends down into portions of West Texas. That's going to be a factor in the forecast tomorrow. I think it's going to put another isolated thunder shower back in our forecast for tomorrow afternoon, maybe a little closer into the Permian Basin and the Trans-Pecos coming up tomorrow afternoon. You see some action still northwest of Lubbock up into the Texas Panhandle where they've had some severe weather text line had a wind gust of 94 miles an hour, if you can believe that, out of a severe thunderstorm a little bit earlier in the Panhandle. But not much happening back here across West Texas as things are pretty quiet. And we saw some hot conditions today, up to 90 in the Midland, Odessa area, 98 in Presidio with some of the hottest stuff in the state. So it was bright back here in portions of West Texas. Now the futurecast, not too much happening. A few leftover clouds will be scooting across overnight tonight, really about it. But you can see another plume of Gulf moisture moves back in. And by tomorrow afternoon, we'll see some isolated showers, thunder showers pop up. This model keeps going back and forth on showing a lot of stuff and then not showing much. But again, I think there will be isolated thunderstorms again across parts of the Permian Basin into the Trans-Pecos tomorrow afternoon. But they'll be very isolated though, but we'll have to watch out for a strong one or two across the area. Then on Thursday, things dry out a little bit more. We may see an isolated shower, thunder shower in those mountain areas, really about it coming up for Thursday. So for the rest of tonight, again, it's quiet. A couple of leftover clouds, lower 70s on the way, and a little bit of humidity to wake up to. And tomorrow, temperatures warm up a couple of more degrees, so into the low to mid 90s out there. A few clouds, an isolated shower thunderstorm after about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, not out of the question. But I think it's going to be a small chance, and then mostly sunny Thursday and Friday with any isolated storms into the mountain areas. Then that front gets a little bit closer, kicking up the isolated showers, thunderstorms, about a 20% chance Saturday into Sunday, which is the start of the fall season. And with that front, we'll see some slightly milder temperatures coming up next week.
Up next here at 9, we're recapping week 3 of high school football. Stick around for your local sports coming up after the break. Yesterday, we recapped week 3 of high school football for some of our Odessa schools. Today, we're taking a look at how those games went for the Tall City. The Midland Bulldogs defeated the Amarillo Sandies on the road last Friday, 49-42. It was a bit of a slow start for the Bulldogs, but the team was able to gain momentum throughout the ballgame en route to their second win of the season. Head coach Thad Fortune is happy with this win, but he wants the team to eliminate their mental mistakes.
We have a lot of stuff to work on. And then also a lot of stuff to be happy about. There's a lot of resilience and a lot of fight that we showed, but we probably made it a little more exciting than it had to be. So we definitely need to work on unforced errors and just putting ourselves in tough situations.
Midland High will be at home this Friday for their first home game at Astound Broadband Stadium when they host El Paso Montwood. Across town, it was a tough week for the Midland Legacy Rebels as they still have yet to win a game this season. But head coach Clint Hartman believes these losses will help his team in going up against tough opponents later on in the season.
It's kind of like going up a mountain and keep climbing and keep climbing and keep climbing and keep climbing, see if we get better. I'd rather be going uphill right now. I don't want an easy one. I want to play some teams and hopefully we can get on the backside of that mountain and start feeling a little better, getting everything together. But we still got to get everything going the right way.
The Rebels will face Abilene on Friday night. Still ahead, we're taking another look at your First Alert forecast. That's coming up after the break. All right, Tom, in just under 15 minutes, kind of right around there, tonight's partial lunar eclipse will be at its peak. And our very own meteorologist Sawyer McElroy gave us a bit of a scientific look at the eclipse earlier in the show. Tom, do you have anything to add?
No, it's occurring out there. Great
Right
viewing.
now?
Get out there and enjoy it.
We go out there right at as soon as this show's over, go out there and take a
harvest
look.
moons are always neat to begin with, but now we got this partial lunar eclipse. It's going to give it a good tinge color of orange. And again, try to get out there and enjoy that. The weather for West Texas, not any problems tonight. Tomorrow we may see an isolated shower, thunder shower, a little closer in across the Permian Basin and Trans-Pecos. I think the best chances are going to be this weekend, unfortunately, with a cool front arriving. Keep that in mind with the weekend plans. Fall season starts on Sunday. Maybe a little cooler, maybe a thunderstorm for that.
All right, well, head outside. Go take a look at that eclipse. That's where I'm going right now. Thanks for joining us for First Alert News at 9 on the CW. We've got more news coming up tonight at 10.